All right, everybody, welcome back. We are back from a 2-week hiatus. I mean, the truth be told, I was just so stressed out from our 3-week best ball draft that I needed to take a break from this all. I started to get gray hair. I looked like Gandalf the Grey. It was bad, man. The draft took forever. No. No, we're back. We're back. We just had it's summertime. We deserve vacations too. So
yeah.
But here we are. We're ready to ride it out. The season is upon us. And we got some best ball Devy draft recap to talk about. So Evan.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and break down and tell everybody, all of our viewers, everybody that's tuning in, exactly what this best ball Devy draft was all about.
Yeah, so if you're involved in any dynasty leagues, Devy is kind of that next step above. Just give a quick breakdown. It's where you actually can dive into the college aspect, grab guys before they're actually in the NFL. So if you see, get certain guys of promise, certain guys that you like, or even just makes college football more fun. So many teams out there, you can start following individual players. But you're able to snag those guys ahead of time, put your dibs on them, and then I'm in a few other Devy leagues. I've never been in a best ball Devy league. So adding the best ball aspect of, hey, it's snag guys you like, you think the talent, and just don't have to worry about that damn roster lineup setting. You just got guys that that, hey, I've got potential. It adds a very much a different aspect of the draft in general, either both on the Devy and the actual dynasty draft side of it. It was a lot of fun. I loved seeing the different strategies going in there, and it definitely shined a light. As I get through, just finished up my own, personal rankings, dynasty, everything, and looking at this draft, I'm like, what the heck was I doing at some points? And seeing the teams that other people have out there, I'm like, damn, yeah, this was a slow draft too. It's not like I had any excuses.
After the first round, I was already kicking myself in the butt. I just knew instantly. My entire draft strategy, it was out the window, dude. I was firing from the hip at that point, which is just nuts, if you ask me. So it was.
Yeah, it is different whenever you're going with, super flex. So obviously quarterbacks are going to go like crazy, but learning that value, assigning the value of, all right, what do you want to put the quarterback, wide receiver, tight end premium as well. So it's 1.5, an extra half point for tight ends, and you clearly went balls to the wall on that one.
Well, the half point, my whole strategy at half point was, here I am I'm stacked at wide receiver 2, essentially, is the way that I was looking at it. So,
and
it's not, my super flex is never going to be, I will lose everything going into this season. I have the first overall draft pick for next year locked already. Drew locked me in for that first round pick.
And Malik Willis.
Yeah, and Malik Willis, who I'm not impressed with at all. But I'll challenge anybody in a positional in the special positions or skilled positions, but as far as quarterback and the super flex, I'm pretty much out of luck. Unless miraculously Sam Howell starts, week 4.
Or Carson. Yeah.
And then I have a shot.
But you have 3 of the, top 8 tight ends. So, you still had that value.
Yeah, shoot, you've got, between those, On Dynasty side, really, you have my top three Dynasty tight ends. You've got selected.
So,
yeah,
I mean, you can't beat that though. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting strategy, and the tight ends play longer into their careers, so nagging up the young ones, you don't have to worry about that for the next 15 years, possibly.
Even though I drafted one of my Devy as well.
Did you? That stuff gets to be a blur. I was looking at all these the Devy draft stuff, man. Yeah, all these players. Oh yeah, you did. Old Dominion tight end.
Yep. This kid's a beast though, man. He's like 6'7". He transferred from Penn State. He's the most athletic tight end coming out of the draft, man. I'm telling you.
We have spent way too much time talking about possibly the least important position.
No kidding, right? But hey, listen, I appreciate the support. I love the tight end position. But let's really get into it, huh? So we want to talk win now, right? Like, so who has the win now strategy and who has the long term, I'm going to play the slow game here, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of have my, do we want to break it down? Like who do we think has like kind of the best win now teams, like top three, each one of us, what we think, or are we just kind of going to spitball things?
We kind of do a little bit of both, I think. I mean, if you have your top three, go for it. I mean, I have two particular rosters that I think are just simply, win now. I think I love the amount of talent that they have. So, and they were late round picks too. So have at it though, Evan. I will let you take it away.
Well, I kind of put the mentality of if I had to put money on somebody right now, if we were doing like a league bet, who do we think is going to win? It's obviously such a crapshoot going into the first, few weeks, especially of preseason, which clearly we had the draft before then. So there's been value changes and whatnot. But going off of what I've got jotted down here, hopefully I have all the rosters right. I think between Flesh 74 here. Yep. I got Will, you over there, Mr. CJ. I'm liking your win now roster a lot. And then the next one, I kind of it gets kind of close at this point. Like the three here are the kind of more standout. I really like DZ10, mainly because of that Alvin Kamara thing. Kind of bumped him up at the end there. It was kind of on a teeter-totter, but then once all the news, obviously it's still such a fluid situation, but if Kamara is able to play, no hindrance, anything like that, yeah, that's the Austin Eckler, Alvin Kamara combo is going to be pretty lethal, along with Patrick Mahomes. So
yeah, that's who I like the most was Dizzy's myself.
So I think I'm kind of this I don't know if I'm like an odd man out here or whatever. So I really like Slurs or Slur. I hope I'm not butchering that. Slur.
Well, it's a username. Hopefully nobody gets offended by butchering that.
Right. Thank you. So I think his roster in general has a potential to win now, but it also has this kind of longevity aspect to it as well. So you have huge upside with Trey Lance. I think prior to this draft, it wasn't until after this draft that they had finally announced that they were going to go with Trey Lance instead of, anybody that was paying attention was really kind of, we're like, you're crazy if you don't go with Trey Lance at this point. You know what I mean? But Michael Pittman, I think DK Metcalf, regardless of quarterback situation, I think he's in a really good situation in Seattle. He just got that huge contract extension. You're talking about late game points where he could really go off, skyrocket, right? Like that's not an aspect of of fantasy football that people look at, right? You look at the points that are in your face, but like DK Metcalf is a really unique situation because they're going to be down. they're going to be down and they're going to be throwing that ball all over the field, trying to play catch up all season long, I feel like, because they don't have an O-line at all. I love Michael Pittman. I was doing some number crunching. I mean, his targets have skyrocketed, and they're going to continue to skyrocket. Like, I mean, targets in this aspect, targets equal potential points, right? So like, it's never about catch. It's about target opportunity. Targets create opportunity. Michael Pittman's numbers are going up. I mean, but then he balances it out with such consistency, right? Mac Jones is consistent. He's not this baller. You know what I mean? He's not going to get you buco points, but he's a baller. Jacoby Myers is a possession receiver, right? He doesn't get touchdowns, but he's got this really nice balance to it. Terrace Marshall, who I'm a huge fan of, right? He's going to make a leap this year in Carolina and then with the Baker Mayfield situation, like Terrace Marshall may really step up and become this wide receiver 2, because DJ Moore's targets are already through the roof, so I don't see those decreasing at all. Yeah. But like Terrace Marshall's are going to increase. So like he has this really nice, I don't know how to explain. Like it's this very nice like potential to win now, but it also has this longevity where like these guys are going to grow into the roles that they're going to fill. He's got AJ Dillon, you know, and then you got the David Njoku. David Njoku gets this massive tight end deal, and then you have the situation with Jacoby Brissett and the Deshaun Watson and what's happening in Cleveland. But, you know, was it 2 years ago? Jacoby Brissett's playing quarterback for the Colts. Like Mo Alley Cox's stock went up. You know what I mean? Same with the Jack Doyle. Like he likes tight ends, right? The tight ends are always that scapegoat. So like Njoku's kind of he's kind of a sleeper there in that situation. So I really like Slore's roster a lot. So now that I took up the entire show, after you guys.
Hey, that was a lot better breakdown of it. I'm just looking over here. I like this. You gave way too much. Man, all right. I got to have target acquisitions and available next time.
What?
Yeah. I'm there with you though, because you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, did anybody mention Philly Fetch? Like, I mean, he's got. Well, I was going to say he's got Dak. You know, Cam Akers is coming back. He's going to produce. We got Saquon, Cortland, the playmaker, and Bateman. You know, James Cook, which is Fitz' favorite player right now. So, I mean, he's got a talented roster. So, watch out for him, too. He's got the sleeper in Romeo Dobbs. Oh,
yeah. You've been loving on him there.
He's actually, I mean, if I'm reading I'm gonna be upfront with you guys. I love Sleeper app, but looking at the scale of the draft that I'm looking at, it's very confused. CJ, are you the one that drafted Barkley? Or did he draft Barkley?
Oh, you're right. I did draft. I drafted Barkley and Sutton. Yeah, that's my bad.
That's your love. That was the most like under the table. I'm going to compliment my own team here.
It's kind of confusing. You're right. The way I
because when you got those trades put up on there,
right?
I have to have it put out on like a little breakdown spreadsheet over here with each team.
Jeez.
So he took Travis Etienne, Dalton Schultz, which
those
are still great targets. I mean, Etienne's stock is just continuously skyrocketing here, and this year he has never played a single game in the NFL, which is like awesome and kind of concerning all at the same time. You know that like. I don't know where you guys stand on the whole ETN thing. I mean, I know coming out of college what ETN was, and
I got to see how the injury is. Like,
so he is like this boomer bust type player, right? That you're going to go ahead and you're going to go buy high, you're going to buy high on him with the potential that he's gonna break out, right? Like, so you're
No, yeah, his talent was by far whenever we were talking about with Najee Harris, him coming out, and Javonte Williams, those were I had him as I was my least favorite of kind of that 3 coming out of the class.
yeah.
But even then, it was a super exciting group of guys with their potential. All of them have this the ability to be the lead guy. You had 3 lead guys coming in. Now ETN is his receiving ability is going to come into this a little bit more, especially with Trevor Lawrence. I think having that connection there and having a little bit of the that safety net, I think he might become more of a safety net because usually you sometimes assign that to the tight end, and Lord help me if he starts trying to trust Evan Ingram or whoever else they have over there. That's not the case.
Yeah, I don't know who they have it.
I think it's it.
It was they acquired Evan Ingram, but he can't do. He hasn't been anything since his second year in the league.
He always gets hurt.
They had a. Well, never mind. I'm not going to go down. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of my favorite type of player. I won't. I won't do it. There's a kid out there, right? Jacob Hollister is his name, and
I swear, sweet Lord above, if we spend 5 more minutes on a tight end.
They had Jacob Hollister last year, and they didn't utilize him at all. Like, Jacob Hollister is such an underrated player that nobody's using him. But I kind of wanted to jump in over to value picks if we could. Like, yeah. And I'm trying to pull up the sleeper ADP listing right now, and I just kind of want to see like where we were taking. I mean, granted, so this is Superflex, so it's a little bit. You can't really go off the ADP in this situation because I mean we had 9 quarterbacks taken in the first round because of the value at the Superflex. But I was just looking, and there was somebody that just stuck out to me, CJ, that you drafted, and
Emmons. Dude, I've been reading reports about him too, man. I'm so excited, dude.
And so, like, the fact that he fell where he did, so we got 9th round. I don't know what RB he was off the board, but to think that he was drafted after guys like Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs and, Edwards-Helaire, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of mind-boggling because you really think about it. Just think about the whole situation. Like, Miami paid this dude, right?
Yeah.
They paid him more than they paid any of the other guys that they brought over. Like, if you didn't think he was RB1 going into this, like, what are you doing? And like how he fell that far now, like, I just think for you to grab him in the 9th round is is amazing.
I also like Damian Pierce, the pick you got too, because reports coming out of Texas camp is he's already RB1 and he's looking really good. So
yeah, I'm gonna be upfront with you guys on that one. That was I need a running back.
Who's in the top level of the sleeper app?
I mean, but like, let's be real here.
Man.
Like, Houston Texans and running backs are not a thing, you know?
Yeah, it's
the last like valuable running back to come out of Houston was like Arian Foster. And that wasn't even his rookie year. That was his second year because he was an undrafted rookie. Nobody was even picking him up. You know what I mean? Like, hello?
Yeah,
and I'm over here trying. Man, you're right. This is looking at the sleeper app, the draft part. Man, it is blurring my eyes together. I'm trying to find on those value ends. Really. It sounds silly on the win now mode though. One that I had already spotted ahead of time is Nanole. Ended up getting, and nobody thinks of this as a value pick, but for this next year, Devontae Parker, I think, is going to be he's going to be a wonderful option for Jones if they can build a connection on there. He's a big body, a guy that can be reliable to actually get there. And again, you get it in the 14th round. Yeah, like dynasty wise, you're not looking at that as something that's, a value pick because obviously the age comes into play. But if you're looking at on that contender side, that's a guy that's going to make your roster on a best ball league. I think 4 or 5 weeks, and you got him in the 14th round.
So this isn't really our draft, but this is another league. So like, I'm sitting on Devontae Parker, Kenneth Gainwell, right? Kenneth Gainwell is having great camp. He's
getting hurt.
Like Devontae Parker, Kadarius Toney's having a great camp. Yeah, I'm just really excited that I was like, all right, I'll suck for these couple of years here, and now like my roster going into this season, dude, is just looking really awesome. So I'm kind of excited. I'm really happy that you brought up Devontae Parker because him landing in New England, I think, was the best thing that could have happened. The best thing that could have happened for him and for Mac Jones, because Mac Jones he didn't have a number one. He had Kendrick Bourne was his number one receiver last year, and Jacoby Myers. And, they brought in the two tight ends, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, and they both, I don't want to say they fell on their faces, but they kind of did. Like, Jonnu Smith coming off the year that he had before, and then he was getting that big contract. He was going to New England. You're like, okay, like, he was nothing. He was, tight end 20. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. So you're talking about and Noel, and I have to tell you, I love the Marcus Mariota pick. I really do.
I knew you would. Once again, though, in the win now, I have nothing against Mariota. He is, as a bridge quarterback, I think he's going to be outstanding. I honestly don't think Ritter's also their guy. So, I didn't care for him coming out of college that much. It's a great landing spot for him and the organization that he's on. I think it was possibly the best thing that Ritter could have landed in. But Mariota, yeah, right now, even maybe next year too, you could be looking at him, depending on how Ritter actually grabs the reins.
I sound like such a broken record because I always talk about guys like, I don't know how many times I've talked about Marcus Mariota and the Arthur Smith connection throughout the offseason, but like people are sleeping on them and don't. I'm telling you right now, don't. Like the NFC South is not as locked up as people are thinking it to be. It's not. It is Tampa Bay's to lose. I'll put it that way. It is Tampa Bay's division to lose, but those guys are going to be knocking, and I wouldn't be surprised if
tight race.
If it's a tight race in the end, dude. I'm really not. Like,
I mean, you got Carolina and you got New Orleans. Yeah.
Let's go, CJ. Who's another sleeper? Like, I mean, I'm loving this, dude. Like, now that I'm looking at how deep this thing went, like,
yeah, so much.
It's really.
And even guys like, shoot, I'm going to see one right here, because I'm putting this in here as it's purely on the best ball side. Right. If I had doing a roster lineup, it does change it a bit because you're wanting to, I don't know, it's just having those guys that you want to be confident in and having the depth for that backup potential. But on this best ball, you got Fletch 74 at the beginning of the 13th round, snagging Tyler Boyd. And you're talking about consistency on the Slores roster. Consistency, even with Higgins and Chase out there in Cincinnati, Boyd is going to be consistent. He's going to be having that in a best ball league, especially too, where you always know, hey, I've got a handful of these guys that I can be confident every week. All my positions are getting me 10 plus points. And that's a guy right there that can do that.
Yep. Hey, if you jump down a few more, so in the beginning of the 19th round, he took Zay Jones, right? And Zay Jones has absolutely emerged as one of these favorite targets for Trevor Lawrence coming out of the, at the start of the season. So CJ being a ECU guy, he is he's big. He was super high on Zay Jones, man. I think low key he still is. He's still rooting for him.
I root for him.
But yeah, I mean, so in terms of consistency and just steadiness, and best ball is such a unique thing because it is boom or bust, and more often than not, it's just going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be bust, but it's just going to be, like you were saying, like 10 points here, 12 points here. Like very rarely are you going to have the true booms, right? And you're going to need those 12 points in certain matchups. And I just, what's coming out of Jacksonville's camp right now and the connection that he's building with Trevor Lawrence, like Zay Jones, his targets are going to go way up from where they were at with Las Vegas last season. And I wouldn't be surprised if he, ends the season as like a, wide receiver 2 with like 80 plus receptions. Yeah. Like it's going to be, or 80 plus targets. I'm sorry. Targets.
I'll take 80 plus reception.
Yeah, no shit.
I got a player. Me and you talked about him, Fitz, is your boy Isaiah McKenzie, who got taken in the 20th round by Mr. Evan over here.
Yeah. So
he's got that third down, playing wide receiver 3.
And this is where, so I'm curious. All right, so here, and see, Evan, 5 rounds earlier, you took Jamison Crowder.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Jamison Crowder's been hurt. He might not even make the roster. And Isaiah McKenzie is outplaying him in that slot position right now. Isaiah McKenzie is wide receiver 3 on the Buffalo Bills right now. So, like, it's just, I'm curious as to where they're being drafted at right now. I want to look at.
Oh, yeah, that's I don't know what their ADP is, but since all the training camps have started going on, and I can't remember the timeline we had started this draft, but that's my mindset. If you look at that later rounds that I have, when it comes to wide receivers, if you really look at it, I took Waddle as my number 1. The mindset I have on a best ball league is the guys that you come week 13, 14, 15, playoff time, but even also throughout the season, you don't know the random guy that's going to pop off and give you, the number 1 player in week 14 or 15 was, I don't know, you could just put in there KJ Hamler or Isaiah McKenzie. But so that's you can clearly tell with my strategy there, pretty much on from around 11 down, it was guys that I might not be on a redraft league, roster setting super confident in, but like Rondale Moore, DJ Chark, Van Jefferson, Brian Edwards, Kyle Phillips, Isaiah McKenzie, those guys are just like, hey, I don't have to set them in there, but I know they've got the talent to do something, and they're on a team that could possibly utilize them.
Well, Brian Edwards is down. He's sitting at wide receiver 2 there in
Atlanta.
Yeah,
in Atlanta. I mean, that's a steal there, right?
Yeah, he's got that downfall. People have a bad feeling on him because of his years over in Vegas. But it's just because you're not getting utilized. Different system, you never know. Whenever it comes to watching these guys in college and seeing the film, you do have to separate that attachment you get. Be like, oh my gosh, they've got the ability. Like, why aren't they transferring it to the NFL and being able to see a lot of those? And I hate saying that, intangibles, when it's the work ethic, if it's being able to actually connect with your quarterback, or as a running back, actually visualize if you're running a gap or if you're running more zone type plays.
Right.
What are you good at, and what's the system that you're being put into? Because in college, you may have been looking awesome as a running back, but you ran a lot of zone. And the league that you're in, or the team that you're on now, is very gap oriented, and you have a hard time running behind your tackles. Yeah, you're impatient. You're not able to do that. So that's why you have that big burnout. But wide receivers usually are the ones that kind of can still find their way through multiple teams.
Yeah, look at Sammy Watkins, for instance. The man is still
Yeah.
trucking. You know, he's got Super Bowl wins too, right?
If he could just stay healthy, though, man, like I think he could have a solid season. It's just it's either hamstrings or quads or something, man.
Well,
Always.
Back to what Evan's saying, it's all about where you get drafted too, as well. I mean, we've been saying it, and this has been the motto of the show since we started, man. Organization is everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Watkins wasn't drafted to a good organization at the time. I have to throw that out there, at the time, because he wasn't at all, and they gave up assets to go up and get him at at 4 overall, and yeah, like it just
it is kind of, I don't want to say comical, but we talk about all the time. Everybody does, all the armchair quarterbacks out there for their own teams or for fantasy teams or whatever. They look as like, what are these managers thinking? What are these scouts thinking?
Right.
Throwing money. I mean, shoot, look at the offseason. Christian Kirk getting the money that he did. Even Chase Edmonds getting the money that he did. Just seeing certain players, with the whole Deshaun Watson and like acquiring and like what's going on, like these thought processes are always questioned, and we have no idea what's really going on. But like you said, it's the organizations. You do see consistently certain organizations that are habitual offenders.
Right.
Now that changes, like you said, once they, new people come in, coaches, managers. But a lot of times you can find it. You see guys going somewhere, and it's like, man, he had such potential, but now he's going here blank.
If we could kind of jump back real quick to the whole win now, good roster type thing, I do want to, as I dive a little bit deeper into howdoiwin.com, his roster's stacked, dude. Like if you go super deep into it, right? So he gets Julio Jones. He gets Julio Jones in the 17th round.
Yeah,
Julio Jones was a free agent. We didn't know that he was going to.
Yeah.
We didn't know that he was going to sign with Tampa Bay. And then after the preseason that Zach Moss is having, he got Zach Moss in the 24th round. Like Zach Moss is potentially looking like RB2 on this Bills roster, in the kind of the James Conner role that James Conner played in Arizona last year. The goal line, the goal line guy, hard runner, inside the red zone type thing. And yeah, I'm just
So is Singletary the odd man out right now?
No. God no. Singletary's he's RB1 for sure.
Oh, okay.
No, odd man out.
I think it's just going to be that party. Singletary primary, Cook is really that
pass catching.
Yeah,
pass catching, and Moss is, like you said, that James Conner touchdown, very touchdown centered.
Yes, which is going to be huge in those one, like in Buff. Like once you get into the colder games in the year, like
he's going to put it in like 5 carries, 10 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Right. No, you're 100% right, dude. Yeah, man. He's got MVS.
And shoot, if you keep going, looking at that, Geno Smith going to be for sure.
I don't want to talk about
in your lock boys position.
It's not a definite yet, all right? It's not a definite.
Oh,
pretty sure he'll get a shot this year.
Super interesting, man. It could be a big one too. I have no idea. I haven't been reading up on anything when it comes to the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, because he's got Jimmy G on his team too.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I mean could just be a complete egg, but
and he's got my boy Gardner Minshew, the backup Jalen Hurts,
the stash.
Listen,
Oh man.
I I love Gardner Minshew. I love the attitude that guy brings to the game. I really do. He's a baller, man.
Uh,
I love ballers. I love guys who just go out there and they lay it all out on the line, every single play. Yeah, man. I'm so excited and I'm curious to see how this pans out. And if anybody is ready and willing to trade with me, I'm all for it.
What
I got tight ends to spare.
I do.
Right,
I do have some tight ends. I need a quarterback. I need a legit starting quarterback. All of my quarterbacks, none of them are guaranteed at starting position. So
I mean, I've only got one guarantee. So, well,
Yeah, I definitely on my side hung a lot of. I love him a lot. Davis Mills, I'm putting a lot of capital into his pocket there.
him out though, man.
Davis Mills, man.
Oh
Davis,
no, I love Davis Mills. It's just, yeah, a lot riding on him for a team
I'm gonna
with
say,
your number two
I mean,
quarterback.
Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins. I mean, Nico Collins is a tremendous athlete. Brandon Cooks is super consistent. Dameon Pierce is going to take if Dameon Pierce is as successful as it's looking like he's going to be. That's going to take tremendous pressure off of Davis Mills, dude. Like,
Yeah, I'm hoping.
and their
They did a great job with their drafts last
Yeah.
2 years.
and their defense is low key, like kind of underrated. Like they have a good defense. They have a strong secondary. They have young pass rushers. Like, who knows? Maybe Houston is finally turning it around. So
I hope. I'd love to see them actually get something going. But
I mean, on that note, do you want to trade Davis Mills?
workout hits.
we'll get a good offline conversation going.
Oh, okay. You don't want to. I hear you. You don't want the public to know. What
Well,
we're talking
man,
about.
as I'm rolling through these, because I started you get these eyeballs like pinging back and forward. I should have written things down, but I know I mentioned Fletch on here.
Hello.
Yo, we got a YouTube question.
Yes.
Hang on 1 second, guys. We're having some technical difficulties here.
Well, I got you. So, Evan, it says, Standard Lee, should I trade Jonathan Taylor and Cortland Sutton for Kamara and CeeDee Lamb? Also been offered Dalvin Cook and CD for Sutton and Taylor. Oh man.
All right, hold on again a second there, real quick. So you said Sutton and Jonathan Taylor,
Yep, for Kamara and CD.
and you say it's a standard, the dynasty. Is it redraft?
Right now it says standard lead.
I'm assuming
Standard.
And
I
then
mean,
and then he says it's also been offered Dalvin Cook and CD for Sutton and Taylor.
so I would take man, dynasty wise, longevity. I would take Kamara over Cook, and that if you're pinging in between those two options there. CD Lamb, it really, man, that trade really depends on that roster construction. Oh,
Can you guys all see me here?
Yeah, we can.
yeah. I didn't know if we lost the stream. I've been answering this question. Hopefully we didn't.
On YouTube also. It's,
Yeah, we're back. All right.
I don't know, man. I think Jonathan Taylor. I really like Cortland Sutton this year. I think he's going to produce.
Yeah.
He's going to be up there in that top 15, top 10. That's what I believe. So,
Man, I'm going to pull up my own rankings on here real quick just so I can refresh my brain. Start looking at these things all day long. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, man, yeah. I mean, CeeDee Lamb really adds a bit, to me, that's the super enticing piece of that, because
Right.
to me, he's a top 5 dynasty quarterback. I mean, wide receiver.
no
So it really depends on what that roster depth is. But in all honesty, if you're in this win now mode, I would go with that Kamara and CeeDee Lamb side of it. on what pure win now mode. I think Cortland Sutton has a better upside in the more recent years. I think down the line, once Russell, I think that's the thing that's helping Cortland bump up is a lot of the Russell addition. Hopefully he can realize the talent, but a lot of Baylor guys have let us down in the past.
We're talking about red zone consistency though. So like Cortland Sutton last year ranked like one of the top wide receivers in red zone receptions, where Russell Wilson was also one of the top ranked quarterbacks in red zone passing. So that's kind of this thing that that's meeting. I mean, to me personally, Jeb. So this is Jeb. I personally would not make this trade. I would keep Jonathan Taylor and Cortland Sutton.
Unless they threw another piece in there, like another.
I mean, yeah, if they threw something else, and then for the Dalvin Cook, Dalvin Cook, you're looking at Dalvin Cook has great upside always every season, but he also has huge downside with the history of injuries. I don't know. I mean, not to rain on your parade there, Evan, but I would definitely
no.
I would definitely just stick with Taylor and Sutton here in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is a little bit to me, if you're getting that win now, you're getting Alvin Kamara and CeeDee Lamb are two top tier guys for this next year or two. If you're holding on, I think that obviously Jonathan Taylor has a lot more longevity on him than Kamara does. And I would take CeeDee Lamb all day above Sutton.
In Dynasty.
Yeah, in Dynasty. Yeah, in Dynasty. Oh, honestly, I mean, CD, I have him.
Well, yeah, even
in redraft.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree with that.
Yeah, it just really is. Honestly though, at least it's a good trade. The amount of to me, it's a good trade offer. You can't go. Yeah, you see so many, especially when it involves, Jonathan Taylor. People just trying to throw a whole bunch of like old 1-year guys at him. I've seen that many times, and to me it just doesn't make sense.
So all right. So what you're saying, you think that Kamara offers more value in a standard redraft league, like 1-year league, than Jonathan Taylor does? Is it because of his?
No. I think so. I do these off of like tiers. So I like to have guys numbered, but then I put him in tier. I think in points right now for like just a single season, maybe next season. But if I'm looking at just this year, I think Jonathan Taylor and Kamara fall in that same tier. Okay. They're going to be in the same range.
You think it's an even swap then? And really,
yeah, you might be losing a couple of points on there, but then with the switch off of CeeDee Lamb for Cortland Sutton.
Okay, all right. Now I'm tracking.
CeeDee Lamb is the tipping point, because to me, CeeDee Lamb is it's probably that second tier of wide receivers, and Sutton is in that third tier.
CeeDee Lamb offers that. He offers the boom plays too, right? Like okay. All right, I'm tracking now, and now I'm part of me is kind of I'm starting to think the other way now, because I think you're right in terms of points and utilization too. Like Kamara and Taylor are both going to get their utilization, and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's wide receiver. I mean, they got Dalton Schultz and
Jalen Tolbert,
Michael Gallup has,
but he's not even probably playing.
Yes, they don't know. Hopefully he will, but
all right. So, Jeb, I think the consensus here is, now that we've talked this out, I think the consensus is that I think you make the trade. I'm with you.
Throw another piece in there just to spice it up.
Oh yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor carries such a massive name on there. I mean, it's.
Yep.
Yeah, it just has that. Even if in the context of it too, if it's a roster league, if it's a best ball, if you can even like just toss in some like low end, 5th tier type wide receiver, those are the types of guys that you never know could be that league winner that just bump up out of nowhere. That whole tier down method of, hey, I'll give you a tier 2 for, two tier 4s or tier 3 into tier 4.
Right.
Or it pays off in those best ball styles. So hopefully we gave you enough ammo there, no matter what type of league you're in.
I hope he's still tuning in here because we lost. I lost the camera somehow, so I lost our camera. Our camera popped off the stream. It was just a big,
oh no!
It was big red square in the middle of all that. Jake chimes in. Jake, what's up? How are you? He's asking how we're doing. We're doing pretty good, man. We're getting excited.
Yeah.
Football season's right around the corner.
Even college football starts this weekend. Excited.
Yes, college football starts this weekend. It's time
man.
It's time to turn the hat around. This is my new hat. My wife got me this one. This is like my favorite hat now, man.
This is not a Bill sponsor stream.
No, it's not at all.
No. Nah.
But
not one bit.
Yeah, man. I'm so excited. I mean, football is 2 weeks away. College football starts this weekend. I have another draft this Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Well, shoot. With the talking about college football, with this best ball draft that we did. Let's jump into the Devy side.
We got about 10 minutes left in the draft. Let's go. I got them up.
Yeah. I don't want to go too crazy because I know we could go on and on, but like maybe we could just kind of talk about maybe our own personal favorite picks, maybe favorite picks that other people had, or like you got sniped on something you were like hoping, and then it's like, damn, that guy stole them from me. I'm looking at one right now, so
I got one too.
Go for it.
It's in the second round. Brock Byers.
Yes.
I won him, and then he got taken by JT Mill right before me, man. And
Are we secretly sponsored by like some tight end union that I don't know about?
Tight end University, what's up?
But man, that kid is phenomenal.
You can't tell me that Brock Bowers is not game-changing material, dude.
And
no, he's
only a freshman.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So I wanted him. I had him, lined up and everything. Bam.
Oh, that was one pick right before you.
Yeah.
Did it?
Was that a panic pick with Donovan Edwards there?
Nah. I mean, yeah. In a way, yeah. I still like it, but yeah, it was panic.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and toot my own horn here because we've now discussed the lack of quarterback depth that I have on our roster. So I'm really excited about Tyler Van Dyke out of Miami.
Yeah.
I'm just just looking at everything. I think he's going to be the guy that ends up, being the most pro ready to go type thing for the NFL. So I got him in the second round. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you should be happy with freaking Travion Henderson on the 4th overall pick there. That's sick, honestly. As soon as I saw like he fell down there, I was like, I gotta trade up. I was like, let's just see what happens. But definitely the snipe that was on my side, which I'm not upset by any means with the guys that fell to me. But Braylon Allen, from the running back from Wisconsin in the first round, I was probably hoping that too much that he would fall to me, but I mean, actually, he went past. I say fall because I had a trade. I took Jackson Smith and Jigba just before him, but I was really hoping Allen. He's my favorite running back right now. Obviously, Henderson, Bijan Robinson, are just outstanding.
Yeah.
But Allen, what he did as a 17-year-old kid in Wisconsin, and had only been really playing the position for a year because he was recruited as a safety. He's sick. He's really super exciting.
I'm having a lot of fun with this right now. I mean,
I wish I could.
I was gonna say you got the top 2 receivers, man. Like, I never saw that coming.
Yeah, no, I was planning this out, and I was like, all right, once I made that Kittle trade, trading away Kittle in the draft, that was my view. I was like, man, I'm just going for best ability, best players available. Not in a million years, honestly, that I think Smith and Jigba would have fallen to the spot that I was. I think what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was drafting from 7.
7.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. We did this backwards, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's reversed. So whoever had the first pick in the regular draft has the last pick in the Devy draft.
So now I'm like looking at it, and I don't know if it was I don't know if I want to call it a snipe or what. I was banking on him falling to me, but he went at the end of the second round. But was no, never mind. He went like mid second round. Mario Williams from USC, wide receiver.
Yeah.
You know, I really like the story. You know, he transferred to USC. Like he's a number 1 receiver. Like he's gonna get drafted in the first round. Like I'm just, yeah.
Well, speaking of that team, the Orange 60 that's who got Mario Williams, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that was interesting because that's the guy who I traded with
right
in there. He got Kittle, and pretty much I gave him my third as well in that. But the fact he gets Mario Williams there, I was curious as to what was going to fall to him in that range. He had Luther Burden, the wide receiver out of Missouri. That kid is, I mean, obviously he's coming in freshman. You don't know what's going to really happen, projecting those things out. But he's
the top receiver coming in, right?
Dude, yeah, no, and he's wicked. He's interesting. I think it's more of a, hey, I'll go to Missouri and use this as a springboard to possibly do what a lot of these other guys doing. Stay in our conference, go to Georgia, Alabama, somewhere.
I like that. Somewhere, outside of the SEC. So
it'd be nice if he went somewhere outside the SEC, but just probably just end up being to Ohio State since they're freaking wide receiver now. Pumping out everyone. It really though, that's why it's talking about strategy on the Devy side. It's super interesting to see like numbers because there's not a whole lot of statistics that go into Devy at this point because it hasn't been built up as long. And following these guys, you have to go a lot longer as to how do they perform fantasy player wise,
right? Not
just obviously pro, but fantasy. And it's always interesting to see on the third round. It's actually got a surprising, near the same hit rate, if not slightly better than the second round picks too. Historically, it's because, and don't know why, but like I like to think of it as that you start seeing guys like this, Luther Burden, you got Branson Robinson, running back for Georgia, these new guys that are Jaden Blue, and not as excited with him with the new running back Texas is getting, or Raheem Sanders. Like there's a lot of these guys that either have sleepy this year value or that are like, hey, they're 3 years down the pipeline. I'm taking my swing on these big guys, as opposed to like round 2 sometimes is like they're still going to be coming out in the new draft and they have potential, but it's still kind of up in that air. So seeing these like round 3, even round 4 picks are always interesting.
I took Robinson because I was reading up on him and they were like saying he's the next Nick Chubb from Georgia, the way his running style was. So
he's awesome.
I took it and I'm going to gamble and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you got Branson Robinson and Raheem Sanders, not you, but like just in that same round, those 2 running backs are going to be completely different classes, but third round picks, those are awesome. There's going to be some really, really good talent to see. And quarterback's always crazy to me too, because of how hit and miss it is.
Yeah, I know, right? Like I took the kid from Alabama that I didn't know anything. He's a backup, man. I'm hoping he takes over. Bryce Young, but we'll see. And Ty Simpson, so
yeah,
there's so much talent that goes in there, like you don't know.
Well, what was we have like 4 minutes. I know we don't like tooting our own horns, but what was y'all's favorite on the Devy side? Like y'all's most excited, maybe favorite pick that y'all were able to snag? I know we talked about getting sniped, but what did y'all actually get you were excited for?
So I mean, it's as you guys know, I'm just now diving into this world of Devy, right? And that's simply because like where I'm at, college football is not nearly as big as. So it's tough for me to really get into it, but I'm trying to. So as I'm talking about it, like Raheem Jarrett out of University of Maryland, like I did my research on him. I watched film on him and his ability to get separation. He's coming from, I don't want to say it's a smaller school, but Maryland's not a highly productive school, right? So when it's going to be really interesting, like when he falls in like the third or fourth round of the NFL draft, like where he lands at, because it's, I think like his ability to separate and his route running and all that stuff, like this is, yeah, I'm really excited about Raheem Jarrett. That's my favorite pick that I have. I know Evan's look on his face is like, I can't believe you didn't talk about your tight end.
Yeah, I was honestly, as I was asking that question, you guys, I was like, I'm going to regret this. This is.
Listen, man, tight end is the best position in football, hands down. But go ahead. I'll let you guys talk now.
For me, I probably say my first pick in Caleb Williams. He transferred from Oklahoma. He's going to USC. He has, potentially been the first overall pick coming out, into the draft. He has playmakers. He can run the ball. He can throw it. So I need quarterback help. All I have is Aaron Rodgers and Mitchell Trubisky. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can start bombing it over there on the West Coast.
Right?
Especially with Jordan Addison joining him.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Mario Williams, as Fitz was talking about.
So Evan, I'm going to take a wild guess at yours.
Oh, go for it.
You're going to say Tank Bigsby from Auburn, aren't you?
No.
Man, I love Tank Bigsby. I think he's got the runnings. His contact balance is outstanding. Reminds me kind of a Javonte Williams-esque with his ability to run around. I'm not comparing him there, but just that contact balance wise.
Yeah.
My favorite actually is not favorite because I freaking love. Honestly, everybody should love their draft. I love my draft, but the guy that was like cross my fingers. I was like, man, I got to take these guys because they're higher up on my board. But I really like this guy. It's my guy, Cedric Tillman, the Tennessee wide receiver. Freaking love that dude. Love him. I've got him in my top probably 25. I don't have the in front of me, but like in my top 25, like actual Devy.
Yeah.
Like, and I love his ability with Hendon Hooker over there. I'm hoping he can actually build a decent portfolio this season to where come into the NFL time frame. Like you said, maybe that fourth,
right,
third. I think he could be a third, fourth round draft pick, and from there make a big splash.
Well, you're really starting to see on the NFL side how much value, man, these mid-round picks really, like, how much value they really have, and how they're just so consistent throughout the league. That these guys that we're talking about, these guys that are going to fall to like the third and fourth round, like those are your money makers, man. They really are. They're your money makers, especially in dynasty style football, right? Those and in dynasty, man, in dynasty, wide receiver twos to me are more valuable than wide receiver ones.
If you just have a stockade of those guys that you can just over the years acquire.
It's so much. There's so much to your Tyler Boyd point earlier, right? Like just consistency, man. Like it's just consistency. So it's not a guarantee that you're going to win every game, but you have a much better shot at winning games, I feel like, than banking on like, hey, this guy's got a really, like, I'm hoping this guy goes off and he just gets shut down.
I need Deshaun Jackson to get me 30 points. Yeah. Living on those hopes and prayers definitely bring back memories. But I completely agree with you, especially the evolution of like the game as it goes on, like especially playing fantasy.
Yeah.
You start to realize it is a lot of that, just that consistent. You're banking on the other team not having a guy go off like crazy, and that you're gonna, depending on your league format, score
Exactly.
X higher than the median every single week.
Yep.
So we're all on a board. We like the good old basic, safe, boring fantasy football style. That's what you come here for.
That is what you come here for. But listen, man. No, you know what? I'm gonna end the show on this note. This show and the title of this podcast, Nothing But the Game, like, this is what we bring people here for, though, is to talk about, like, we want to talk about those guys. Because to me, those are the guys that make the game. Those aren't your, I mean, look at it, we're 12 years into Robert Woods' career, or I don't even know, like, and we're still talking about Robert Woods and how successful he is at the wide receiver position. And it's not until now, or within the last couple of years, that this guy is getting recognized for his game. But he's one of the best, dude. He is the best in terms of PPR, in terms of separation in his routes, his route running, all that stuff. He gets open, he gets his looks, he gets his touches. Like, he's one of the best. And he ends up falling in like 7th, 8th round, and it's like, why? Like, this guy is going to be the most consistent person on your roster. I mean, same with Cooper Kupp, man. I was a Cooper Kupp guy 2 years ago before he had this breakout year. Like, those are the kinds of guys that, and again, Cooper Kupp's a 3rd round draft pick, right? He was drafted in the 3rd round from the Rams. So these are the guys, so that's what I come here for. I come here to share that passion and that knowledge with you guys about the ones that no one is talking about, or the ones that people aren't recognizing yet. 5 years down the road here, you guys are all going to be talking about Khalil Shakir is a top wide receiver in the NFL. I just had to get that out there.
That's your sign off.
That's my sign off.
Well, you successfully were able to work in every single Buffalo wide receiver into this podcast.
I didn't talk about Stephon Diggs. I mean, I was about to when I was talking about Raheem Jarrett.
Yeah. No, we didn't talk about him. Well, now we did. Good job.
I can't help it. All right. I'm so excited about, listen, I'm not a homer. Okay. I love the NFL in general, but I tell you what, man, the 33 years of my life, the Buffalo Bills have been crap, and it's just exciting that they're like freaking relevant right now. Okay. They're the favorites. This is the first time ever in my entire life that they've been the favorites going into a season. So, all right.
Live in the moment.
Live in the moment. Why don't you guys close this out?
Amen.
Bills Mafia.
Mount up.
You go for it, CJ.
No, we just like to thank everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're on every Wednesdays at 8 p.m. So, and like we said, the season's about to start up. So watch out for more videos. And yeah, everyone have a good night.
Alrighty. Peace.
Peace.